Chinese three-time Olympic swimming champion Sunyang is reserving the right to sue a British newspaper for defamation. The Sunday Times, one of the biggest UK newspapers, reported on Sunday that Sun faces a lifetime ban after a clash with doping testers that ended in him and his security guard using a hammer to smash a sealed vial containing the swimmer's blood. Sun's lawyer issued a statement soon afterwards calling the report untruthful, adding that the so-called clash occurred because the doping testers had failed to provide proper paperwork and fabricated a report claiming Sun broke anti-doping rules and sent it to FINA, the international governing body for swimming. The statement also stressed that a FINA panel ruled in Sun's favor on January the 3rd. So what is the full story? What is the true story? Joining me here in the Beijing studio are Gong, Professor of Economics at the University of International Business and Economics, and Harvey Dzodin, a Research Fellow at the Center for China and Globalization. So, first of all, according to what Sun has described, these people fail to produce proper paperwork, including authorization letters, because they are working for an organization based in Sweden called IDTM, and they need to have proper authorization letters from this agency in order to come and collect his blood sample and urine sample, and then they do not have the necessary nursing certificate, which means that they are able to observe someone pass urine for test, and then they don't have the kind of anti-doping tester certificates. So, but however, on the headline, on the title of the report, you only hear that Sunyang abused drug testers. No question asked about whether these are real drug testers. Harvey, what is your first response?
Well, we don't know all the facts really, so it's kind of dangerous to speculate about this, but it's also fun to speculate. So I believe that the problem here is somehow this report, which was supposed to stay private, has become public. We don't know if that was leaked. We don't know if the Times of London got this information somehow from a source, and that we may find out later. But it seems to me that this turned on a technicality from what I know. The technicality is that it was decided that letters of authorization should have gone to each tester as opposed to the organization in Sweden. And but for this, Sun would probably have been banned for life.
Sorry, what do you mean by probably would have been banned for life?
Because it would have been his second violation, and it's clear that he did violate also the spirit of sportsmanship as well. I mean, this kind of behavior that he engaged in with his mother and with the security guard, it's outrageous, and it's not the kind of thing that a sports icon should be doing.
Well, we do not know. Again, what we understand, what we think, or what we read from the report, from the Sunday Times report, is what the Sunday Times report has said about what happened. We do not have the other side of the story.
Correct.
Right? According to Sunyang, they do not recognize the legitimacy of these testers, so he had full right. If that is true, he had full right to reject doing the test. John, what is your first read of the story?
I think it's very clear that the paper, I mean, we have to wait for the facts out, but I think it's, at this point, nobody's suggesting the fact that the paperwork is not adequate. I think nobody's disputing with that. So I can imagine the scenario where, you know, both sides probably got into an altercation and, you know, tension flares and whatever, and then we have this hammer thing and this the broken vial thing. So I think that's my guess of the course of events. Of course, we have to wait the facts out. But if you're judging from, you know, if you believe in this narrative, I think you know, the point is that this proposition that he might be banned for life, it just doesn't hold water, you know, because this procedurally it's not correct. So he has a reason to reject that. And I think it is also one thing that is also not emphasized a lot in that Sunday Times report about FINA's decision side with Sun Yang's version of a story, and they're not going to introduce any more actions, right?
Well,
so,
the FINA panel decision is clear. However, WADA, which is the International Agency for Anti-Doping, they have the possibility to launch an appeal against this decision to an international court of arbitration on sports. But several points. First of all, this was something, the content of the award should never have been made public. This was what the FINA wanted. So how come this was leaked to the journalist or to whoever told the journalist of the story? This is a big question. In that sense, are you breaching some kind of ethics or rules?
It seems like something was breached here, and Sun's lawyer made a big point of the fact that the motivation was malevolent. And so the Times story was being released, the report being released was malevolent. We don't know what that is. Is it directed towards the athlete himself? Was it directed towards China,
well,
the country?
One possibility is this athlete is actively preparing for an international competition. So when news flare up now about his credibility, about his doping status, I think that can create an enormous amount of pressure and disruption to his preparedness for the game.
Right. I think it is no doubt in my mind there's a leakage here. I mean, the information must be leaked from FINA side. I mean, Sun has no incentive to leak this information. So the information is leaked out, and somebody picked up this information, probably a journalist, I think, and is motivated to write a story.
Do you think it was a mistake that when people took these documents walking in the corridor, they dropped on the floor?
No, come on.
So it was intentionally.
Harvey, you know this well. I mean, we in the U.S. these kind of leaks happen all the time, right? I don't know the law in UK, but I think in the U.S. it's actually quite difficult to sue someone in the government.
Another thing, I think first of all the ethics is we do not know exactly what happened, but from normal ethics you shouldn't be doing this, right? To seek confidential information and release it to the public, because that is clearly against the rule. And secondly, you were talking about lifetime ban. Actually, this is, I think, a judgment that's too mature, or a scenario that's way ahead of, because only when the Court of Arbitration for Sports decides that Sun violated anti-doping rules for a second time, then he could be banned for lifetime. But whether there will be appeal to be brought to the Court of Arbitration, and whether the Court of Arbitration will rule against him, it's all a big question mark. However, when you put that kind of possibility in writing, saying star name, it's right under the headline, under Sun Yang's picture, saying star name, Sun Yang faces a lifetime ban. I think that is a pretty serious statement.
It's premature, certainly.
It's a sensational statement. It's also a biased statement. I'm not convinced that even if WADA pursues this case, there's a strong case here. Even because FINA's decision definitely weighs in on the subsequent WADA investigation if they're going to do this. I think the point is not objecting a test. The point is that to protesting a inadequate, deficient procedure here, right? So, from that point, I don't think WADA has a case here.
And also, again, as I said, if these people do not have legitimate, proper paperwork, for instance, if you say you're a policeman, but you can't produce your police documents in front of me, what do I do? Do I have to listen to you? And when people write about the story, do you say you're a policeman?
Well, it seems like the proper procedure should have been that he should have protested at the time and filed the appeal after, but not...
But are these people, can these people be qualified as drug testers, without any question mark?
One of them is not, actually, according to reports. One of them is actually...
Yeah, one of them is a friend of a friend.
Is a friend of... Yes, he's a makeshift guy.
who is not trained to do this kind of testing. So, but when a newspaper reports say someone abuses drug tester, the first reaction people get is that, okay, it's the problem of the athlete. People wouldn't doubt the authenticity of these drug testers. And my last question, really, what is going to happen to Sun Yang Now that he has been under this kind of media pressure, and also people are reminding other people of his so-called unclean background. If someone commits a mistake or violate a rule for once, does it mean that
his record is clean? You know, I disagree with the statement that he has an unclean record. He was, you know, this was an accident. The incident you are referring to, I think it's 4 or 5 years ago. He took this medicine, it's a prescription, without knowing that it was banned only 4 years ago. And he could have filed a medical exemption, which he didn't, unfortunately. So I think it's a benign accident.
But the thing is, when newspapers write about this, they don't include that kind of detail. They only say he was banned for doping in 2014, and that's it. And the understanding people get is that, okay, he already committed it, so he might very likely commit it again.
There's good journalism, there's journalism, and there's yellow journalism. And it seems like
I hope we're
good journalists.
Okay, I hope so.
But I'm not sure the Times of London is. It's owned by Rupert Murdoch, who his reputation for upholding journalistic ethics is mixed, to say it diplomatically.
Really? Okay. Well, I don't want to put wrong accusations on anybody. I just want to ask some of the questions that are clearly on our minds after reading this report. Many thanks to my two guests, Gong, Professor of Economics at the University of International Business and Economics, and Harvey Dzodin, Research Fellow at the Center for China and Globalization. And with that, we come to the end of this edition of The Point with me, Lu Xin. As always, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter using the handle The Point with LX. Download the application called CGTN to watch the show on your mobile devices, or go to YouTube and look for CGTN The Point. Thanks for watching. You've got the point.